Welcome back, everybody, to Unconditional Surrender in Europe, game designed by Salvatore Vasta, published by GMT Games. I'm Dren608, and this is the next series in line. I'm calling it the Thousand Year Reich, I think is the way I'm titling it. You'll see why in a little bit. In a few more videos, you'll understand what's going on. But for now, we're just going to pick up with, we're starting in January of 1940. It's fairly straightforward. I'm doing this more out of completeness. The weather is pretty crappy everywhere. And we'll just get going here. Declaration of War phase. Don't think he did anything. Why am I not moving forward? There we go. So now we just do production, which is straightforward. No strategic. He does a strategic move here somewhere. What does he do? I think he's moving. Yeah, he's getting the infantry unit out of Hamburg. Or is he? I'm not sure. Oh, no, he just took it off the marker. Okay. And then he's... I didn't have one for the West or for the Soviets, so it's his operations. He moves that infantry to Kiel. And then moved the 1st Panzer up to where the convoy was. Moved this infantry up to that hole, moved garrison in there, and then he was done. I decided to go ahead and try my hand at nailing him in lousy weather. Rolled terrible. Took 2 sorties to his 1 sortie here for this airplane. Or was it this airplane? That airplane. Why is he not at 1 sortie? Oh, I keep hitting undo. That's why it's not doing that. Then I supplied the British, and it was done. The Russians move a guy up into Odessa. And otherwise, we're pretty much done. Germans, I believe, replenish their airplane. The West replenishes their stuff. We get into mobilization. Nobody had anything to build this turn. Oh no, I guess the Soviets had one from when they took Karelia, so they built it up there at Vyborg. And then in the diplomacy phase, the Germans were kind enough to give me another area seized. So I was like, huh, okay. How did this work out? I'm getting lost here. Wait. So Germany pulled a area seized marker. Not quite sure. Which one did I take? Then the West pulled a political success. Oh no, we were just looking to see what was in there. So it was like 2 political successes and 2 political failure, 2 political successes, and no event. So I said, what the heck? I think I'm going to pull. I pulled a political success, so I was very happy. Put my pro marker back in Greece. Probably should have taken the pro marker out of Italy, but if I get Greece and he gets Italy, I'm very happy because of Kanya being a port that can intercept all the way to Sea Zone 22. And it's outside of his air range. So he has to go and conquer Greece at that point. And the Russian said, "Get my area seized back in the box." And we go to victory check. End of turn. Did we have anything? I think the Germans get stuff. Yeah, the Germans get another aircraft and another infantry. So West doesn't get nothing. So puts his stuff in his boxes. Russian army moves down to be built next turn. And then we go into weather. This is February now. So there's no lines in December through February. So he rolls a 1, 4, 2. So he gets poor, poor, and poor in February, right? Is that where we're at? February? Yes, we're in February, right? I gotta look up where's the turn. Yes, we're in February. Okay. So we're in February. Let's turn this off. Let's bring this up because that's going to be next. He declares war on Norway. I'm like, huh? What? So I go around putting down control markers on all my spaces. And, the standard setup for the Norwegians has to be this. And I'm not allowed to declare war, so we do production. And which one did I take over here? I don't remember which one of these guys I took. I think I took Lithuania with that last area seized marker. What did I put in the box? Karelia? Yeah, I took Lithuania, but I didn't take their army off. Okay. So, this is actually kind of interesting that he chose to do this. So he moves the 3rd Luftwaffe up to Aalborg, takes a sortie. He drops his airdrop marker on Oslo, plays a surprise attack marker into the sea zone, and then puts his surface action marker on to escort the convoy who is having the 1st Panzer do an amphibious assault. So we just kind of put them up there so we know what we're doing. Even though you're not supposed to move it according to the rules. We always do because, heck, you can always do the back button to find out where it actually came from. So he comes in at me. Oops. So I'm at -2, 3. I'm only -3. -4. There we are. And his fighter comes in. I throw in my ground support. It's kind of like this is an obvious one. So I am -3 on the defensive die roll. He is +2 for the German, 1 for the armor, 1 for the Navy, 1 for the Air Force, -1 for the city, -1 for attacking the unit amphibious assault. So it's +3 to -3. Big enough split, he should win. Why is he 2? Oh, and it's poor weather. So he's actually -3 on this attack. But he rolls a 4 + 2 is a 6. And at -3, I have to be retreated, even though I rolled a 6. So then I roll for my Norwegians retreat. He takes the hex, so we stop the world here. He went and put his sortie on the thing. My ground support comes back in 3, and then we go and do the Norwegian disappear. The Germans get 2 more willpower. Put a pro marker in the cop. And he put a pro marker in Sweden because he could, and there was nothing of mine to take off. Actually, he could have taken off the one in Greece, but he was thinking, we talked about it, and it's like pro marker in Sweden, pro marker in Finland. If he can somehow have a spare pro marker and bring in Sweden, then he has ability to put a German unit in here and supply it through Sea Zone 12, and German unit on the Finnish side of the border in Russia is usually a nightmare for the Russians. And he liked that idea. So basically was done. This is him rolling for his airdrop marker, I think. Yep. And he rolls a 6. So a very costly conquest of Norway. His airdrop marker won't be around, so forts are safe the world over because there's no Axis airdrop marker. And he went ahead and left his panzer in low supply, and I do not know why, but he did. And then I think we went into the Western operations phase, and I decided that what the hell, I was going to try something bizarre. So I activate the 7th French Army with the convoy and the fleet, and we go up here and land in Stavanger. And then in France, did I do anything else? Don't think I did. What did I do? I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I'm setting die roll modifiers, and I don't know what I'm doing. -2. Must be me doing the attack die roll. Yeah, I think I'm doing my airplane again. So I ended up with a 2 and a 3. Yeah, we each took one. I think I did it again. Ended up with a 1. He ended up with a 4. So I took 3 sorties. He took 2. And I said, what the heck? All in. Penny for a pound. 3 minus 5. So I'm a 1. And he's a 2. So he went up to 3. I went up to 4. And I said, okay, I'm done. And then they had to supply out of there and here. And Soviets didn't have anything to do, and we're into Axis replacements now. So the West does its. He had. Why didn't he do his? There we go. So he brings down his airplanes here somewhere. Oh, he didn't replenish his airplanes because he rebuilt his surprise attack marker immediately. So he used it here in February, and he's going to get it back in 1, 2, 3, 4. He'll have it back in June. He put it in the wrong place. He put it in June 41 instead of 40. So I think we correct that. There we go. Western mobilization. I didn't have anything for the West. Soviets build their army in Lithuania. And then we went into diplomacy. So the Germans pulled and got a no event. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 no events out there. And the British were like, I think we have to. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 no events. So there's 1 no event, 1 political success, some German pro markers, and an area seized. I figured it was worth the shot. Oops. So I put in a political success and a no event, hoping to let the Russians pull something. and they got a no event. So we went into February. From February into March of 1940. And because we're going into March, there's some die rolls here for the British. So we'll go and put them on the turn track, put them there, and then we roll the dice. I rolled a 1 and a 4, so the airplane comes in right away. Surprise attack marker doesn't come till July. And then we're rolling weather now for March. So this is a different table, so we'll bring that up. So here we are in March. A 4, 6, and a 1. So it's a severe, and a fair in the Mediterranean. So not good weather for the Germans to be doing anything, or the French even, up here. So national tracks are, fairly straightforward. And then strategic warfare, none. Strategic move. This is, I'm not sure what he does here. Move to garrison into that port. I think it's because he's going to bring his tank back. My strategic move, none. So we're in operations, so 3rd Luft flies back down into France. Or actually, no, 3rd Luft flies to Posen because now it's considered adjacent to Poland. Not sure what he did there. So it takes the convoy and the 1st Panzer, and they come home into Bremen. And I intercepted with the fleet, the French fleet here. That's what it's there for. Intercepted him in Sea Zone 12. I got a 6 because French are +1. And he got a... He should have only... He was... where's his... There it is. So he was -2, but only a minus... He's -2 for a convoy, -1 for sortie, but then he's +1 for being German. So he ends up being a net of -2. He ended up with a 2, so I interdicted him, but he takes 2 sorties there, and the Panzer is flipped, but he still gets to where he wants to go. And then he moves this around here. I tried to intercept him again. I rolled a 6. He rolled a 3 or 2. So he takes 2 and ends in Kiel. And then he goes up to Oslo and will be at low supply. So I couldn't stop him, so I didn't feel like I should take the sorties, right? Okay. And I think that's it. He didn't do anything else. He didn't have a lot else to do. We go into the Western Allies, and I send the French army because he's at low supply, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's an all-sea hex site, so I can actually move there. So now I have the threat. If I can muster the points next turn, depending on the weather, I could possibly force this low supply guy, if French fleet can stop him from supplying, I'd force this low supply guy out of Oslo, capture it with the French, and then the Germans would have problems because they'd be attacking across the river and into the city, and they would be at low supply. So they'd be -4 going in there. So this seemed like a good idea at the time. And then I think, yeah, I just did my supplies. The French convoy supplies him. And Soviets didn't have anything to do. We go to Axis replacements. We go to Axis replacements. I don't know why we're playing around with the... Okay, so he brings down his fighters, brings down his convoy, flips over his panzer. I think he had an infantry to flip over too. Something. He had plenty of points to do it all. The West just resets their fleets. Soviets don't have anything. There's no upgrades, replacements. And the Axis gets to put... They put another airplane up here. And then they're going to bring one of these zero-factor airplanes over to the west. Next turn. He builds garrison in Kiel. And I blew right through the diplomacy phase. West mobilization. Soviet mobilization. No, now we're in the diplomacy phase. So here we are. There's 2 successes plus some German pros in the bucket. He goes ahead and pulls and gives me another area seized. I'm like so happy that I'm getting these on the German pulls rather than the West or the Soviets. So I go get another one. I think I take Estonia this time. Or no, I take Latvia this time, I think. Because that's the Duna River. And then we pull, we go to the West, they spend 5, they pull a political failure. Talk about horrible. Well, it wasn't real hard choice for him. I was trying to get one more political success on him and get rid of Italy. Instead, I gave him Italy, and he goes ahead and activates Italy. So, here they come. He has to put the port there. He goes ahead and puts a real infantry there. Puts 2 real infantry in the north against the French. Puts an infantry on that side. And he's trying to figure out where to put these garrisons. Puts 1 in Sardinia. 1 in Durazzo. Puts a fleet in a convoy there in Tripoli for supply. Thinks about this, decides that he wants to put... Oh, I'm hitting backs, I'm sorry. This garrison ends up somewhere else. I think. Yeah, he's not finished yet. So he decides that he wants to put the airplane there in Palermo. He moves that guy there instead and puts that guy there. And puts a second real infantry in Egypt. So, Italian offensive into Egypt. Looks like it's going to be happening. He does have 4 units in North Africa. One of them is a garrison, which will probably stay at low supply unless it's threatened. So... and then the Soviets say, okay, let's put an area seized in a no event back in the cup because, wow, that really hurt. And now we get to end of turn phase. Oh, I think I'm putting stuff in the buck. Yeah, I get my airplane. The British moves from March into April of 1940. And I'm This is stuff off the turn track. Wasn't much. I think it was his surface action. And he reset his... I think that's it. So then he rolls the weather. 246 in April. Wrong buttons. 246 in April, and we're using the May severe and severe. So 2 and a 4 is poor and poor. And then a 6 is on the fair line is severe in the Mediterranean. So okay. And then after he had done his setup of the Italians, I needed to set up the French. So the North Africans go there, there, and there. The British go there and there. The British use their emergency convoy move to get somebody into Casablanca. And then we're at the declaration of war phase for April. And he says, nah, and I'm not allowed to. Takes his strategic move marker. I don't know what he's doing with that. Oh, he put it on an Italian garrison and sent it up to Copenhagen. That's what he was doing. So... And this is a mistake on my part. I'm strategically moving, number one, the guy that's closest, into El Alamein. And what I should have done is probably moved the Western Desert Force, because I don't have a surprise attack marker. What I should have done, this is mistake number one, this should have strategically redeployed to there. So that's mistake number one on the road to the Thousand Year Reich. The Russians go ahead and move down to that, strategically move to that space. Then we go into Axis operations. I think all he does is a shuffle here. There's panzers up, infantry out. I don't know what the hell that was all about. And then he brings an airplane from over in the east that only had 0 sorties and brings it over here. And then the Italians attack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We go to combat commitment. We both commit. Tanks for each of us. So he is +2, -1 for the El Alamein, and I am -1 because I'm +1 in British, -2 I'm reduced, +2 for tanks, so I'm a net of +1. Both of us are +1. And he rolls a 6 +1 is a 7. And I rolled a 6 +1 is a 7. So that attack didn't work. So then he goes 1, thought about it, and says, no, I'm going to come here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And he's going to attack at -1 to -1. He's trying to get a retreat out of me. Rolls a 6, -1 is a 5. Good die roll. Rolled a 6, -1 is a 5. So the heroic 9th Army for the British holds for a turn. Problem is because I strategically moved it there, I can't get it out of the way to let the Western Desert Force take its place. So, and then he supplied all 3 real armies and left the garrison in low supply. And that was that. You know, he also wanted to move that Italian army up. I said, okay. In his supply phase, he went ahead and escorted the convoy with his surface action. So it's +1 to +1. And he managed to give himself full supply. Well, we were in poor weather. What weather were we in? Yeah, we were in poor weather, so we were both +1 and then both -1. So it was -1 each. I rolled a 3, -1 is a 2. He rolled a 5, -1 is a 4. So I took 2 sorties. He took 1. His supply got through, so this guy's now at full supply. I was hoping that I could if I could have interdicted him and had him at low supply, I could have had a good chance of taking back Norway. But that didn't happen. So I'm not sure where I'm at here. Western Ops. So seeing that I didn't take that city, I just said the heck with it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just going to go back to France because it didn't work. And the French army is going to be better spent in France than up here. And again, that's a mistake on my part. I should have the French fleet because I don't need it up here. The French fleet this turn should have come down and based itself in Tunis or Gabes or something so that I could intercept his fleets or make his airplanes have to fly against the French. And it didn't. So then this Frenchman attacks the Italian. And I go ahead and throw my tanks right away, so I have +3 to his 0. I get a 9, and he rolls a 6, so he's just retreated. So then I attack again at +1 to 0. I rolled a 6, he rolled a 5. I attack again. I rolled a 3 +1 is a 4. He rolled a 1, so he's retreated. And then I was out of movement point, so I couldn't keep attacking. And then I bring the 10th Army to there. And I think that's... No, I put it in Cairo, that's right. And then I think I'm just doing supply here. So again, it's like I didn't move anything to interdict his supply lines. And I leave this guy. Oh, by the way, one of the things I did do since he put this garrison in Cagliaria, I had to put the Syrian garrison into Corsica. Otherwise, he just moves up there and takes a will point from me. So France is fragile enough as it is. And so I supplied 2 units here and 1 in Alexandria. Sixth Army moves down to there. I'm wishy-washy on my Russian defense here. And now he goes and does his sortie replenishment and his convoy as well. And his airplane in Königsberg and his Italian convoy. And I take down my stuff. And we are it's just the French taking down their stuff. So we didn't have anything, no upgrades. Mobilization for the Axis. I don't know if he had anything to build. Did I have something to build? Oh yeah, I have my airplane to build. And I went ahead and built it in the Western Indian Ocean, thinking I had time in the West to defend. Okay, so where are we? So we're in the diplomacy of the Axis. And they're going to pull a marker. They get a political success, which was annoying. And I believe that they go ahead and activate Romania at this point. Yes, he goes and activates Romania. So he sets them up. He had a time trying to figure out where he was going to go. Okay. And then, so now we go into the Western diplomatic phase. And the West goes, well, let's try and get rid of some of those pros that he has sitting in there, or get the Russians their last area seized. And I pulled a political success. So the last one is out. Oh no, we just pulled them all out. So yeah, there's 5 in there. 1 German, 1 good for the British, 1 good for the Germans, 1 good for the Russians, and 2 nothings. So we put them back in the cup. And I spent my 5, and I pulled the political success. So then I activated Greece, I believe. Yes. So I set the Greeks up. And we made a mistake here. His Italian should be at low supply. And then when we got to the Soviets go put a no event in the area seized back in there. They want to get their last area seized and dilute the cup on the Germans. So just ordering the things there. And now we're to end of turn. I don't think there's a... Oh, we all get a few things back. French get their tanks, the British get their tanks. I get a ground support to help the Greeks. And it's May 1940. So we will go and roll the weather for May. And he gets a 1, a 1, and a 5. You couldn't ask for a better die roll. In May, a 1 in the cold zone is fair, but he doesn't care about that. He gets a 1 in the mild zone, which is a fair, which he does care about. And then in the warm zone, he gets a 5, which means it's poor weather, so that even if I had the British fleet there to interdict him, he would have an easy time. He has a better time of getting through in poor weather. So, not good for the Western Allies. He gets an early fair weather. And that's the end of this series of turns. So that's the first 4 turns of 1940. Again, I think I'm going to be calling this the Thousand Year Reich. Over the next 3 videos, you will see why. I'm not going to spoil anything, but Germany has some really nice successes coming up here that will show you something rather phenomenal. And it's going to be combined with some of the worst play in this game that I have ever done. So, and I will point it all out as I go through. Anyway, I'm Dren608. If you like my videos, please subscribe. Hit that like button so that YouTube algorithms can keep these things up for everybody to see. And until we meet again, stay safe and bye-bye.